Are we ready?
And now we're live.
Now we're live. Broadwater County Trust Meeting, October 6th, noon. And we'll call ourselves to order. Missing is Doug Brecker today, celebrating his mother's 90th birthday, so certainly excused. Introductions. We can pan everybody. We know everybody. I think we're in good shape there. Approval of last meeting. Minutes.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes as presented.
Second. Well, motion is second to approve minutes as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Virgil, any additions to the meeting? Do we got anything you want to bring up?
Nope, we're in good shape.
Sorry, I have one thing. If you come to my office, I'm still in that building, but I've moved my office to the back of the building. So if you come to the front door, chances are I will not hear you.
Okay.
So come to the back door or call me first. And the other issue is I've been putting agendas up at the post office forever. And this last month, they've disappeared, like 2 days after. And so I've talked to the ladies at the post office, making sure that, I wasn't doing something wrong. And they said they have been having that issue. So I put another one up for the trust board meeting, maybe Thursday. It was down by Friday. So it's not their crew or their staff or their cleaning. I don't know if people are wanting to come to the meeting so much they want an agenda or what. So just so you know, they are aware of the issue.
Okay. Thank you. Financial reports, claims and transfers.
You have the first page of the first premiere in your packet. This was as of the end of September, $2,917,494.22 in first premiere. Then yesterday, it looks like the transfer went through for $250,000 into the trust board county account.
What was the number?
$250,000 was transferred.
And that'll put us back to our threshold. But that will bring us up to 950,000?
Yeah, I don't have the financial from the county except for the end of September.
Okay.
I did not get that yesterday, so I can't give you a to date.
Okay.
But last time it was 700,000 minus the money we're saving for the press box, so 662 plus the 250.
Very good.
But there have been payments made.
Yeah.
The pay station, another, but I don't have that for you today.
Minor stuff, so, okay, we're still in good shape. Okay, claims.
Gosh, you're going so fast. $50 for the Broadwater reporter for this month's ad, and mine, because it's only been 3 weeks since our meeting, $330.
Okay.
I move we pay the claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pay the claims. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Motion carried. Silos parking lot update, pay station.
I was talking to Steve before the meeting. I have quite a bit of money to get to Doug Ellis. I think it's $670. Kim created a spreadsheet. What I'm trying to do, and I will do that tomorrow, is I'll just designate some time. I'm going to create an Excel spreadsheet so it's printed out, so it's a little more clear for the auditors and Doug Ellis. They've just got sloppy with my handwriting. So I will work on that, get that to Doug. So at the pay station itself, we've collected, according to my math, we'll confirm that with Doug Ellis next week, or $670. It looks like then in addition to that, it looks like 8 people have bought season passes.
Okay.
So we don't know
But-
what's gone through the kiosk.
That's the tags that I have. But we still have an issue with the credit cards batching, I guess is the word, through the county. So I will work on that tomorrow. Doug Ellis sent me a list and nothing has appeared. That is an issue not with the county or the pay station. I think it's an issue with the credit card lady. So I will,
So nothing is batched.
it appears to be. I will work on that today.
Okay.
When you figure out what that is, would you share that with us?
Yes, yes.
Because I know, we put it on our credit card for the annual fee, and that went through right away.
It's going through on people, it's charging people. Somehow the disconnect is getting to the county,
Okay.
and that's the credit card lady,
Mhm.
as far as I can tell. So she and I will talk tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't have a report of how many people, but I will get that to you. I would say, looking at it, about 90% are out of town, out of the county that are paying. There's a few nasty notes, and a few just $5 thrown in with no envelope. So
If you go stand by it, people just drive by and give you money.
tell that story. Tell that story.
So we were down at the pay station getting it open, getting the envelopes out. And a guy backs in, pulls his boat out, pulls it up, stop, gets out, walks over, gets his $5 that I didn't pay.
Hey, that's all we
So,
need is a
you know.
person.
Right?
It's kind of like your guitar guys, on the street with your guitar box. We can just put a fish basket out there and something just sit there.
Debbie, you might want to dress down a little if you're going to stand at the kiosk.
Oh, this is being recorded, Mr. McCullough.
Oh, that's right. I forget. Oops.
So you guys are working on getting that so it opens better?
We know what the issue is. It's just, if you just give it a real quick jerk, it seems to pop loose. It's the powder coat they put on the top edge of the
Door?
door. When you close it up, if it's hot and expanded, it sticks. If it's cooler, it pops open easier.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
we'll
okay.
We'll take care of that.
Perfect, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maintenance team out there is well aware that there's an issue.
Excellent. We
Right
got a
on.
good team out there.
That's
So
right.
there are some bugs in the system, but we'll get it figured out.
Excellent.
Good, okay.
New grant requests.
I've not received any phone calls or emails.
I've not heard any.
I haven't heard any, no. Nothing new from Goose Bay, huh?
No, and I emailed them 2 weeks ago to see, and they've not responded. So I don't know.
Al, Citizens Action Group.
So the master planning process is moving forward. The contractor's design team is now working on design, the campground design. And so we're going to have a steering committee meeting on the 10th of October from 10 to 12. She has them about every 6 weeks. Get everybody up to speed on what they're doing. We'll actually probably get our first glimpse at a draft of what they've started and be able to comment on that. This week I had discussions with the BLM on the lands thing down there. They are now on the steering committee, so they are now tuned up to everything that's going on, every email, everything that's going on. And they are scheduled on the 20th. I've talked to Corey Meyer, the Butte area manager, and they're doing their research right now, trying to figure out where they sit, what they can do, that kind of thing. And the BOR's kind of been sitting back waiting, because if the BLM says no, then we don't need to engage them and their people in a whole bunch of lands discussion. So let's see, design team. I've explained to the BLM what we're looking for, what we'd like to do out there, get that acreage down there at the corner, and use that for the county facilities that we talked about out there, the fire, water station, maybe the fire station eventually, but search and rescue. And so they're aware of that. What I've told them is, I said, I know 20 acres was thrown out. The original discussion was 5, and it went to 10, and it went to 20. So I said, you tell us if there are any issues in the acreage. In other words, can they do something easier at 5 acres than they can 20 acres? So they're supposed to let us know that. So, and if I get anything from them, I'll share it with everybody. So I think that's it. The next public meeting on the master plan is probably going to be sometime in November, maybe early December. And it will be then, that will be the design stuff will go out to the public. So that's kind of where all that stuff's at.
Okay. The only reoccurring thing, and it came up after our last meeting, and several of the participants at that meeting wanted to make sure that a swimming access for the kids would make fairly high priority to get them off the boat slips and the docks and the ramps, and if they make it attractive on the North Bay and get them out of that bay. So that was the only input I've had. So.
Yeah, and I passed all that on to Sarah,
Okay,
so she could pass it on to the design team.
sounds great. Any questions? Okay. Master plan at the fairgrounds.
I guess the only thing I can report is I did talk with Gwen and said, hey, when you have your next meeting, talk, with the Fairgrounds Rodeo Club and see if there's any project that they would like to move forward on. I think they haven't had a meeting yet, but I think it might be this week. Are they doing like electing officers this week?
Yeah, I think it was 7.
Yeah, so
Okay,
maybe hopefully that conversation will take place.
excellent. And I may have mentioned at the last meeting, when the 4-H group had their temporary tent put up and gazebo out there, they said for the 4-H auction, they said it worked really, really well. But they were speaking strictly for 4-H, and they thought rather than a big formal building, if just a permanent kiosk of goods or not kiosk, a gazebo of some size, it would be phenomenal. But they were trying to get consensus from the other groups too.
Yeah. And I think it's the same with the fair board. We haven't had a fair manager for a couple of months, and they were waiting till we just hired, what's her name? Jessica, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, in there? Oh,
So
okay.
she's on board, and so whenever they meet again, we'll have that discussion. So.
Okay. Jessica Harris. Recreation Board, Adam 6. Apparently Adam was unable to make the meeting today.
No, did they have a meeting this
They
month?
canceled it.
They can't.
Oh, they did,
So they
okay.
didn't have a
So
meeting.
no updates.
She's got a new baby in the house.
They do, oh boy.
Oh, excellent. Number 10, land transfer, was that what you alluded to earlier, Al?
Well, there's two parts of that. One is the piece out at the silos, and the other is the head on to the.
For Indian Creek. So if the commission is still positive on moving ahead on a transfer to expand the Indian Creek rifle range, we have 2 pieces of paper we've got to make some adjustments on, and then we'll send it to the BLM and start the process. So 2 or 3 weeks we should have the paperwork moved so we can start the action with the BLM.
Past history is Virgil Zephyrs got a land transfer of about a half section.
Yep.
Got about a half section up there where the long-range gun sighting area is. That's now county property, but the county has leased it to Rod and Gun.
Hopefully it'll be successful because our usage on the range has really gone up. That's no kidding. And the only thing that's going to slow us down particularly on our shotgun ranges, there's no shells available. So, so, what we've done to fix that, or try to, we're making a mass order through Cenex, so we'll have enough to keep things going. I don't know where all the shotgun shells went, but you can't buy any, so.
Okay, final item is future meeting date.
I'm sorry, I have one more thing.
Oh.
Mike Delcher, if you recall the last meeting, the silos, the safety rings, I guess you call.
Yeah.
We've got an invoice, it was more than, so, Mike, do you want to?
The invoice I think you got was for like,
Yeah, I didn't bring it with me.
It was for like 10 rings.
for $858.06.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys had agreed to buy 4 rings,
Mhm.
but the rings don't do you any good without the ropes and the hangers. And we were told that they were like $60 a piece. In actuality, they were,
57.
the rings and hangers were $57.63 and the throw bags were $65.24. So Sharon agreed to pay for the other 3. So the total of your bill would be $492.48.
Excellent. Thank you for looking into that, Mike. And that was pre-approved, so we don't need action on that. Is that correct?
It was, but it was a different dollar amount, so maybe it might be a good idea to have a motion on this dollar amount.
Can you give us the numbers on the change?
That is not,
Buying
that's
us
my
around.
alarm.
So I'll make a motion, we pay the $492.48 on these rings and ropes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to pay the dollar amount, the actual dollar amount on the rings. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Unanimous vote. So, I think we're down to future dates. November 3rd is Election Day, and so that'll be quite a holiday in Broadwater County. So,
Okay.
Let's go for the 10th.
Yeah, let's go for the 10th,
okay,
if it's
the
available.
10th's good for me.
For me.
At
Okay.
noon here.
Yeah, here, and so if you'll make sure we get plenty of notification out to the public on that. Anything else for the good of the trust board?
What do you guys see happening with Silos Recreation if the county gets out of the BOR contract?
Boy, personal statement, I think it's nothing but benefits for the taxpayer. The Bureau of Rec in the past always comes to the county when they make changes, so you get plenty of input. And they've been actually pretty good listeners. They know what's in your county and they know it affects you and they know they are the big government, but they've been pretty good. I would personally think it'd be a benefit to step out and not have the financial commitment or liability out there.
So I guess our follow-up question is, we've worked hard on getting this kiosk in place and the arrangement that you guys have with that. How would you envision that working?
And again,
I would imagine we give that to the county, or to the BOR, because anything out there they own anyway. So I would say give that to them, and they have to get their own credit card people.
Let them manage that with
Sure.
the concessionaire or whoever that is.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
That's my thought too. The trust board has invested nearly $1 million out there in the enhancement of that bay and the slips, and we're gladly to turn that over to Bureau Rec for their future maintenance.
I'll just give you my thoughts. I think you need to be thoughtful in getting out of the agreement. Now, there are segments of that agreement that I wholeheartedly agree need to be either changed, thrown out, or reworked. Getting out of it entirely, it does put you in a different place. They'll always ask you your input. If you're in a partnership relationship with them, it's different though. They don't just ask you, they'll sit down at the table and work with you. And, you know, you can discuss whether or not you feel the county's better off or not better off, probably your perspective. But I personally think that having a partnership agreement in some fashion, some wording, whether you're the managers as you are now, or you have a concessionaire manager as you are now, I think there are benefits to both parties by staying in a agreement relationship of some kind, whether it's, and you need to think about what is it you want to be involved in. But there are avenues that are beneficial. There are times and places where you can help guide, because you're a partner at the table, what they do or don't do. There are times that you can be a partner in the financial end of it, agreements, grants, or as a partner writing letters of support for entities that might be trying to get money for the BOR. Because essentially, if you're out of it, then it's all theirs. And the ability to weigh in on what happens in their budget system is gone, other than just an interested party. If you're in a partnership relationship with them, you're going to be in a much stronger position to be able to help them and help support things that they put into their budget system. That'll help as they go up the line, because it's going to go to Billings, and then it's going to go to Denver, and then it goes to the Washington office. They need support in every one of those arenas to move their budget stuff along. If the field office out here says, hey, we want stuff to happen in the budget, and they got no partnership, that word doesn't fall strongly as they go up the line. If they've got partners that are in relationships with them, they stand taller than people that don't. So there are some of those kinds of things. Now, I understand the liability issues and those kind of things. And we've talked about that many times, I think, out there. Part of it has to do with just how it's set up to run, and you take care of those things. Once you know we got safety and health issues, they have to be. Once you're knowledgeable, you don't have any choice. You got to get in here and fix them. So those are the kind of things to me that you might think about if you want to maintain some kind of partnership relationship with the Bureau on that. I think there's financial gains to be made for the county by doing that way. From a total outside entity of pursuing projects and money for those projects, you know, I can tell you that when you sit in the government chair, you don't have as much leverage. You don't have as much swing as you do if you've got formal partnership relationships. And I think my encouragement would be either terminate what you got and offer to rewrite something else, or try to renegotiate terms in the one you have, rather than totally walk away. But on the other hand, if you're going to stay in it, then you got a lot of work. You're going to have somebody that's, in my opinion, ready and able to manage your end of the agreement, that knows that stuff that can make it happen. Because if you have an agreement with a lot of stuff and you don't aren't doing the things in there, then you're out on the far edge of the agreement. So I just think it's my experience in my career has been that if you've got agreements with people, you're in a much stronger position to get stuff done than when you don't.
So let me ask you this, if we decide to get out of that contract, what happens with the docks?
I was gonna ask that same question.
That all belongs to Bureau of Rec. That was a given. That was
Then
kind,
they wouldn't pay us for them.
no,
They would just take them.
Anything on that property they own.
that going in, that was our understanding, is the improvements we put on federal property will end up belonging to them.
Either that or else we sell them outright.
Yeah,
Can we sell them to
you
the-
do have that option. I think you could probably sell them outright if you wanted to.
I think under your agreement, you have the ability to move anything that's removable. If you leave it,
It's
then
theirs.
when you walk away, it's theirs.
Mhm. Yep, that's my understanding too. The experience standpoint,
Yes,
our experience is in what, 2004, was that when we took that over approximately? But the trust board, not taxpayer money, but the trust board's invested nearly $1 million out there.
yeah, yes,
Countless time and effort, and yet Bureau of Rec, because you're the concessionaire, has contributed almost no money. And as long as you're the concessionaire, why would they? It's your responsibility, not, and the trust board's had about enough, investing money out there with no participation. So, that's, and again, one man's opinion, but, and the liability, we discuss liability until a lawsuit hits and you're the concessionaire, that's when the liability will be a big problem, so. Virgil, excuse me.
well, it's, and you know, and this just totally walking away, we're gonna lose all the work on the parking lot also. You see, plus the docks. So
No
that's,
additional cost is the only argument for that, is we no longer have to incur cost.
Yeah, and you'd have to work out the kiosk stuff, you'd have to convert over to the bar stuff. Which might be good for them, they might understand how it works and put more of them in. Because they are trying to get out of the cash. It's all one credit card.
I think it would be an ideal time for the county to extract yourselves from that, in that the new plan is coming in, and now it becomes Bureau of Rec's responsibility to inject the millions of dollars that are gonna be needed instead of Broadwater County taxpayers, because you guys can't afford that. That is beyond financial responsibility. I mean, it might be good for recreation, but it's certainly not good for the taxpayer.
Yeah, you have to figure out how you're gonna handle the master plan contract.
Had Bureau Rec contributed over the last 20 years now, if they'd participated, I might have a different attitude. They've elected, you're the concessionaire, it's your responsibility, and that's pretty tough.
Well, and that's the agreement though. That's the
It
agreement
is,
language.
yep.
I mean, you can't necessarily blame them for what the language in the agreement is today for what was written, 14 years ago.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you gotta look at it from the standpoint, that's the contract. And the contract says that the county's gonna do it, gonna manage it, gonna handle it, gonna pay for it, gonna plan it, gonna develop it.
Certainly been to the benefit of Bureau Rec.
Yeah. So, and that's the kind of stuff I think that if you were gonna stay in it but renegotiate, that's the stuff I think that you need to get out of, is the planning, the development. You yourselves could be the concessionaire manager. That's a lot different than being the manager you are now, where you're responsible for virtually everything out there.
So that's how you would partner with them, but not have the responsibility of maintaining the campground.
Well, you would have your daily maintenance or maybe your annual maintenance. It depends on how you get in and word that
Okay.
contract. But you operate as the concessionaire is operating differently than what it is right now, which is the total manager,
Right.
plan, build, design, operate everything.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any idea what the yearly gross income is off of the campgrounds and this sort of thing?
Well, isn't the county in the
Last
hole?
year was 72,000,
Mm.
and we ended up with $7,200, which doesn't,
72,000, that's barely enough to make it work.
Yeah, there's,
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at, to the full development, then you're probably that much far ahead. I don't know, the issue that I have with it is that in order to monitor the contract the way that it should be monitored, we almost need to hire a full-time employee, and that's all that person. So you need to generate about $70,000 just to pay that person.
Right. So really, when you take a look at it, the only time it's going to be successful in generating enough income to cover the maintenance is if it were put together like Goose Bay, where all the heavy construction and this sort of thing is taken care of. I just when you take a look at it to see how much it's going to cost to bring it up to say the standard as Goose Bay, it's going to take a substantial amount of money, and to try to do that as a business, you'd never be able to generate enough income to cover the costs.
Mike, did that answer your question?
Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of, yep.
I mean, I just don't know how much BOR is willing to negotiate out of the contract. I mean, all the responsibility that we have out there is, they don't have anything. We got everything, and we're liable for everything, but the end result is we don't get anything out of it, because by the time we pay the power bill out there and all the maintenance repairs, we go in the hole about $3,500 every year. And even if you change the contract to 2080, you're still not gonna generate enough to perpetuate the whole thing.
No. I agree.
I mean, as far as the economics of the county, I don't see where it's, that whole place out there, if it was back to the desert it was before, I'd be a lot happier than right now, because those people out there that come on the weekends are a pain in the residents. And that's exactly what's going on out there. But I can see the campground, I mean, like, I think June or July, she had like $25,000. But then August and September, you're looking at like $7,000-8,000. So you're not gonna, you get $700.
Yeah.
So economically, it's, unless there's some way to that, and I'm not necessarily looking for it to benefit the county, just don't cost the county anymore.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the argument's been made that we're a lot better off if the county's in it. Well, you know what? As far as the economy of the town goes, those people don't care if Broadwater County's involved in that campground. They're gonna go to that campground anyway, irregardless of who's running or whatever. So I don't really see where, there's no big economic boost there, because everybody buys their stuff in Bozeman, Butte, and Billings before they go to the lick. The only thing they buy here is gas to say goodbye. That's about it. So I don't, it's hard to see the benefit, but at the same time, we just got done with the master plan, so where's that gonna go to? I don't wanna just see that thrown away.
I was on the commission when we took over that lease. And the intent of that lease for Broadwater County taking it over at that period of time was it was not fair to have a concessionaire while we're in the middle of construction and excavating the bay, and it was an absolute disaster. We intended to give it back. At the end of our 2 or 3 year construction process, the intent was to give it back. During that period, Jim Hone and I were both gone at the end of that period, so it was not given back. And then, of course, it got renewed, and that was not our intent. We did not want that liability or financial responsibility on the taxpayer. So,
Yeah, I think that's the liability is a big issue when you're running a complex area out there like it is. And even assuming that it was all now done at the level that the master plan is laying out, just the fact that you're operating if you in fact have designated swimming areas, that's a liability. That's why, my comments have always been, you got to be careful with that one. That's a big one and stuff. But to your point, Mike, about people that come out there don't use Townsend. That's just not true. I've talked to all the businesses in town, and they'll tell you that, and you just go by them. Yeah, it's a weekend. It's a lot of weekends, but during the summertime, even during the week, there's a lot of users out there. And yeah, they do come with their stuff, but they also come to town. And they buy stuff here. They support this town.
But the thing is, that's not gonna change. They're gonna continue to come to town and buy stuff, whether the county's involved with that place or not.
Yes, I agree with that. And if we get the master plan through and get some things developed, we have more people out there. There'll be more people using town, which may or may not be what people want. I don't know. But that's what will happen. And that's, there's a lot of people use Townsend as their transition point, becoming good grocers. Gas, go to the bars, go to the restaurants, all that stuff. I think, this summer has been a hard one to look at because of the anomaly going on. But you look back at the stuff that Fish and Game has pulled together with the amount of economic activity that users on Canyon Ferry, which 60% of boating use comes through the silos. So I understand what you're saying, but you can't just poo it away that all those people are going to continue to come. If you continue to run this place down and don't manage it right. I mean, I've talked to the host half a dozen times out there this summer, and he'll tell you that when he started this summer, it was a nightmare out there. Took him about 3 weeks to get it sorted out, get people so they understood that they were in a public campground and they needed to act that way. It wasn't their local weekend backyard party place. And as you know, we're dealing with that in the subdivision out there also. So it's a change, and it's going to continue, and it won't settle out until we're down the road some more. I don't know how far, but I just think that the county needs to be in a relationship with the BOR, whatever that is. There's a lot of avenues to look at. If you were to redo your concession operation and put it out for a national bid, you would probably see bidders like the ones that run these other big campgrounds around. And you might have a different window that you're looking at than what you're looking at right now. It's just, they operate differently. They have a business plan that they put together when they bid on those things. And, most of them will tell you it's going to take them a couple of years to get it all up to speed and stuff. And it'll create change out there. But, so.
Thank you, commissioners and mayor, for attending. We're kind of honored to have, But hearing anything else, shall we adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Motion.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
See
So if you
on
read
the-
the newspaper article 2 weeks ago, you saw in this week's paper, last week's paper, there was a correction.
Mm-hmm.